So in this slide, we are going to simply see what is meant by problem. So what is meant by solution, then what is meant by a programming. So problem is a finding maximum and minimum in a list. So this is a given problem. This is an example for a given problem. So what is meant by solution? How the solution should be. For an example, it should be a correct. The solution should be a correct. It should be a time efficient. It should be a memory efficient for a given problem. So what is meant by programming? So very simple things. It is a correct, unambiguous, easily understandable instruction. In general, program is a set of instructions to perform a particular task. In our next slide, we are going to see what is meant by a computer. Computer is a programmable electronic device designed to perform various services. How it performs services. For an example, a computer receives data and instruction through an input device and processed using a central processing unit and the result displayed on the output devices. In general, computer is a combination of both hardware and software. Both hardware and software are equally important for the successful functioning of a computer. In this slide, we have shown the different types of computers. For an example, desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone, embedded system. So these are all the different types of computer systems. Yeah, next. What is meant by hardware? Very simple definition. It is a physical component. So that is called as a hardware. So what are the hardwares available in a computer? For an example, processor, memory, mouse, keyboard, printer. So these are all the hardwares used with the computers. Some of the hardwares are located inside the CPU. Some of the hardwares located outside the CPU. The next we are going to see the components of the computers. In general, the computer components has been classified into 5 types, that is input devices, output devices, processor, memory, then storage or auxiliary memory. So we'll see one by one. So before that, so this is the functional components of a computer. In this diagram, there is an input, CPU, output, and also memory and auxiliary memory. So this is a functional component of a computer. In our next slide, we are going to see the definition of each component. So what is meant by input devices? With the help of input devices only, we can give the input to the computers. For an example, keyboard and mouse. So what is meant by CPU? It is responsible for processing the data and instructions. For an example, it receives the data from an input device and process the data and store the data in our memory and display the result to the output devices. The next, the central processing unit is generally divided into T type. One is arithmetic and logical unit. It performs various arithmetic operation. The second one is controlling unit. It coordinating and controlling the data. Third one is a memory register. It is a temporary storage devices to store the data. Yeah, the next we are going to see the output devices. It is simply used to display the result to the user. For an example, monitor. We can give the input to the computer with the help of the input devices. The central processing unit process all the things. Finally, we can see the output only through the monitor. The next one is the memory. In general, memory is classified into 2 types. One is primary memory, another one is a secondary memory. The RAM is also called as a main memory. The storage or auxiliary memory is also called as a secondary storage devices. So what is the major difference between these two? As we all know very well about that. So primary memory or RAM is very limited in size. The secondary storage device or auxiliary memory are larger in size. And also, if the computer is switched off, the data stored in a primary memory get lost. For an in auxiliary memory or secondary storage memory, even if the computer gets switched off, the data becomes a permanent. Yeah, the next we are going to see the generation of the programming languages. In this slide, we are going to classify it into 5 types. That is 1GL, it is a mission level programming language. The next 2GL, it is an assembly language. Third one is an mission independent and more programmable friendly languages. For an example, C, C++, Java, these are all the third generation programming language. The fourth generation programming languages whose statements are similar to the statement of English languages. So fourth generation languages are used to solve very specific problems. Fourth generation programming languages may include support of database management, report generation, mathematical optimization. So finally, we are going to see the fifth generation programming language. It is any programming language to solve the problem based on constraints and logic, rather than using an algorithm written by a programmer. So as of now, in this lecture series, we have completed the fundamentals of the computer hardware. So next we are going to see, in our next video, we are going to see the computer software. Thank you.